Chris Anani, a teacher at J.J. Harris Elementary School, and Jennifer Whitley, a teacher at Athens Community Career Academy, both believe that teaching their students Black history is of the utmost importance. Both pre-COVID and currently, they've worked hard to make the month as powerful as possible for their students. Applications are open to be the inaugural Athens Poet Laureate. Following Amanda Gorman reciting her poem, The Hill We Climb, at President Joe Biden's inauguration, the Athens Cultural Affairs Commission announced the creation of this program that they will be funding and administering. Hey y'all, I'm Willie Daniely. According to Sheriff J. Michael Moore, Madison County saw a record number of voters today. But their Board of Election was a little slow getting their votes cast. They just recently reported 12 out of 12 precincts complete. On February 23rd of 2020, a 25-year-old unarmed Black man was hunted down and fatally shot on a street in Brunswick, Georgia, not too different than this one behind me. His name was Ahmaud Arbery, and his death was one of many that sparked months of protests. Asim Ahmed is the president of the UGA Student Government Association, and he was one of the many students that lined up under the arch to call for a change.
Granted, these things have been happening, right? These murders have been happening for centuries. And many more happened just in that year, but that was the first one that really picked up like news headlines, major news headlines, just to start off what happened the whole summer, right? All the murders that happened the whole summer. And
the Black Lives Matter movement, a movement against police brutality and racially motivated violence, took to the streets of Athens last summer. The protesters used the wrongful deaths of slain Black people like Arbery to bring attention to the inequities that exist in this country. 1 year has passed since the death of her son, and Wanda Cooper Jones is not done fighting. Yesterday, Cooper Jones filed a wrongful death civil lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Georgia. Jalen Polk, a UGA student and president of the Black Male Leadership Society, hopes that this lawsuit provides the family with the justice that they seek.
Family deserves more than a sentencing. And some recognition of Ahmaud Arbery in the town. I think that this really woke up America, not just Georgia. So honestly, I think that nationally, Ahmaud Arbery and many other like victims of police, or not police brutality, but that too, should be recognized in a more formal way.
In response to the filing of the lawsuit, attorney Lee Merritt, who represents the Arbery family, said in a Twitter post that everyone involved in the targeting, murder, and cover-up in the Ahmaud Arbery case will be held responsible criminally and civilly. A group of protesters have been fixed on this corner in East Athens. They have been fighting Landmark Properties. Landmark Properties is the luxury student housing developer that has more than $4.1 billion in assets. In Athens, they own The Mark, The Standard, The Retreat on Millage, and Landmark Athens. While already expanding their footprint by constructing a third building next to The Mark downtown, Landmark Properties has demolished several historic homes in Potterytown to make room for a multi-level parking deck, and residents of the area are up in arms.
They're in the business of destroying the character of Athens, and now it's just becoming like an Atlanta suburb, which is just stupid because Athens has its own culture that, needs to be preserved.
We live around here, we drive by every day, and we loved the character of this historic neighborhood. I feel like it's a great potential area, right, that we could do something better with. And so I just want more transparency and more time for public discussion and more plans.
District 3 Commissioner Melissa Link has been an opposing force in the commission for luxury projects that are catered to wealthy students like this because of the lasting effects that they have on the community.
The first mistake made was laying that kind of intensive zoning on a historic neighborhood. I mean, I guess back then there was zero appreciation for it. The way to save these things is to get way ahead of the ball and change zoning for properties long before anyone else is interested in pursuing profitable development on them.
Even 20 years ago, we knew 1.9% was not an acceptable number for the state's largest institution.
20 years ago in 2000, Yadu Adajo was a part of that 1.9% of Black students. Though that number has grown to 8% today, she says there's still work to be done.
We have to make sure that we're creating an environment that serves those students of color and that creates an opportunity where they feel welcome, they feel empowered, they feel supported.
The 1961 Club offers that support with money for scholarships.
And they thought it was really important that we create a giving society that shows that we're giving back to students that look like us.
Alumni also find the time to make face-to-face connections with students. In her role as president of UGA's chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists, Tyler Norman has learned from people like Monica Pearson, a well-known Atlanta TV news anchor, and ESPN's Maria Taylor.
I often reach out to alumni to help us with programming. We've had some alumni come back and speak at our programs, and they're always there to kind of just help with networking, and always just there to be speakers when we need them.
Cheryl Kupong is one of a handful of Black students elected to the University of Georgia Student Government Association. She credits her predecessors for her success.
Black alumni have really been everything for me in terms of being vice president of the student body. I mean, they walked so I could run.
They walked and still stand.
You have our shoulders to stand on. HAMP is right here. Beside, he always is.
Help by my belt.
This file, it's National Junk Food Day. I know, people actually decide what day it is, and that's today. National Junk Food. Now, what qualifies as junk food?
Whatever.
Hey, potato chips got potatoes. I think that's a vegetable. Donuts have
Blueberries.
Blueberries sometimes. Wheat.
The one I
whole
want.
grains. Eggs. Who you calling junk food? I love this scene.
Here, a couple of former interns for us, but here, students at UGA, what do you think?
It's amazing, and so our friend Willie here was a vegetarian, but he's taking one for the team today, guys. It's
Willie!
so good.
Yeah, so good. Look at the life just infused into Willie, and I love this shirt too. Can you zoom in on that, Mike? It's a bulldog with a gator in it. They just beat and crushed their rivals, the Florida Gators last week, and they're gonna crush the South.
African-American scholar Carter G. Woodson once said, "Knowing the past opens doors to the future." I'm Willie Daniely, Grady News Source. I'm Willie Daniely, Grady News Source. I'm Willie Daniely, Grady News Source. I'm Willie Daniely, Grady News Source.